All right. All right. We are back, everybody, and we are going live. I was having a few technical difficulties, but we're still making it happen. I don't have my good camera hooked up, but we've got this one going, and I hope everything is streaming well. I did want to, I got a couple minutes because I got to get to a client. But I just want to thank everybody as part of the group that's been viewing. Today, we're going to talk about like the subject of, are you kind of seeing yourself? Are you recognizing your emotional needs in relationships? Are you recognizing your emotional needs in relationships? So we're on this thing to where we're trying to build. We're trying to become confident and we're trying to understand how to reorganize relationships. And there's certain things that we need to know in order to stop this cycle. And I want to talk about it a little bit today to see if you see yourself in these situations in relationships. There's a lot of questions that we have to ask in order to make change, but then we have to take action. We have to take action. It doesn't have to some when I say that, that's scary to some people. But we do have to take action, and it doesn't have to be big, huge things that we do differently, but there's got to be those small things that we do differently. Some of the reasons why we're ending up in dysfunctional relationships is because we are not aware of our emotional needs. Okay. We're just not aware of our emotional needs. Okay. And so when we're getting into relationships, I want to ask you this question. And I had a little form that I wanted to show you all, and I'm a bad multitasker because I think it will be a good way for you to kind of understand what's going on. Okay, maybe we'll be able to pull it up. Okay. Yeah. All right. And so the thing is do you see yourself as a leader, okay? In relationships, do you see yourself as a follower? Are you the head? Are you the tail? Are you the counselor? Or are you the one who provides or who is receiving the counselor? Because a lot of times we go into relationships not believing that with certain people, okay, with certain people, like there's certain people that, yeah, I'm going to be the head. That's the thing in itself too. With certain people, I'm going to be the, because like I hate to skip to it, but if we're thinking about romantic relationships, what often happens, especially for a lot of women, with the women that I've worked with, is they will go into relationships where um they kind of feel like the head. They go into relationships where there's a lot of fixing to do. It's a lot of things, a lot of repair work available. Okay. And so that's why when I said that, it kind of tripped my mind. Like, are we going into relationships feeling as though we could be a part of leadership? In other words, um, I'm not feeling intimidated by you, and I'm not feeling that you're lower than me. Because sometimes when it comes to romantic relationships, it's easy to get into a relationship where there's not a challenge, where you feel like that you can handle this person all right. Okay. Intellectually, they won't make you feel stupid. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot more to offer, but maybe in other situations with particular others, there may be an intimidation or a threat, and these are the relationships that sometimes we find ourselves not getting into when we need to be looking at that. We need to be looking at relationships more so when we're challenged, and we need to ask ourselves, why is it that I'm feeling challenged with you? Why is it that I'm not feeling like an equal? Okay, so we got to get into emotional needs. We just got a few minutes to cover it. Okay, so the question is, what is the narrative that you are telling yourself about you? Just on a day-to-day basis in different places. What's the narrative that you tell yourself about you? Is it a narrative? And a lot of us, to be honest, we have a difficult time uh placing emphasis on this because we want to overlook it and sweep it up under the rug, the things that we really feel about ourselves, and just expect things to happen in a positive way. And then some of us, we're not even consciously aware of the level of negative, a negative view that we have of ourselves. And I'm gonna tell you one way to figure it out, because I think we're all here, and so this is fundamental, right? But One way to determine and discover if you have a negative view and or you don't have a negative view about yourself is by the people who you're entertaining in your inner circle, the people that's close to you. Are these people that are uplifting you? Are these people that pour into you? Are these people that value what your opinion is, value your needs? Are they about kind of, do they see themselves on the same level as you, or do they view themselves as being superior? Are you dealing with people who are who speak to you in a mean and very disrespectful way? Okay. So are they sensitive? Like, if you're saying that you're tired, you can't do something, or what if you're saying yes about something and you get the feeling, that they know that you don't want to do it? Are they going to be like, I know you're saying yes, but okay. So if you, any answers to those questions, if you're holding yourself in the company of individuals who um are not after your best interest, this is an indication, unfortunately, about what I think about me. Because when you do the math, if I think highly of myself, I'm just not going to entertain certain things. But we do it. Why? Because of fear. Fear. We want to attach. And we also do it again. I have to bring this up because we have been used to doing this throughout our life cycle. All right. So, what's the narrative that you tell yourself? And what are your emotional needs? So, I think it's really important that we understand our emotional needs, because a lot of times our emotional needs have not been attended to. I often ask my clients, who who is that person that's in your life that has an unconditional appreciation, respect, and acceptance for you? Who has been that person that doesn't judge you, who accepts you for who you are? Who is that person that you feel that you don't have to put on a facade? Who is it that you go to when you need support and help? And a lot of times these supports are very limited, okay, in our relationships, right? So a lot of our emotional needs are so distant from us being aware of it that it just, it's not a good thing. A lot of our emotional needs have in essence become the needs of others. Okay. So if I'm to ask you about something relative to your emotional need and what you need, what you like, those kinds of things, a lot of us will have trouble explaining and describing that, because we're so caught up in pleasing someone else that we have a difficult time directing the attention to ourselves, because somewhere it may feel like that this is not a good thing. So, do you have intrinsic meaning outside of what you are supposed to provide for someone else? So, what is your meaning in life outside of providing for someone else? Have you identified that? So, do you know what you want? Is another question. Um, you know, do you know what you want as far as the emotional needs, as far as your emotional needs? What emotional needs are you having that you want to see provided by your partner? Have you taken the time to think about that? What are the emotional needs that you have, um, that you need from your partner? These are the things that I need emotionally that I am not getting, from your partner, from your friends, from your children. Think about that. What is it that you need, right? And how well have you been able to articulate that? Is there even an awareness of these needs? Some of you all are aware of it, but some of us aren't. And those of you all who are aware of it, if you're codependent, or you're people pleasing, the awareness needs to be strengthened. Okay. And so I want to real quickly, I want to see if we can share. This is often an activity that I will provide uh, to individuals, uh, and it's an emotional needs inventory. Okay. I gotta make sure. Okay. It's an emotional needs inventory. And so when you look through this inventory, it identifies, it's kind of scattered, but the idea is that you want to choose 10 of these needs here. Okay. 10 of these needs. And then narrow it down to 5. And those are the ones you kind of want to focus on, maybe communicating to others. All right. So you see them here, emotional needs inventory. Okay. Emotional needs inventory. So I have a need for acceptance. I need affection or appreciation, belonging. I need communication. Now, a lot of times when you go through this activity, you could just go crazy on these because it's like, well, all these I really need. But the thing is, we want to choose at least 10, and then we want to break that thing down to at least like 5. What's your top 5 emotional needs? And why is it that you are not being provided these needs by the ones that's closest to you? And we're going to go deeper into trying to understand this thing, right? And um, so then on the second part, the first part, we find out what I need. I need peace. So if you see it, if your emotional need falls under peace, then you look like to see if any of these kind of are relative to the peace you're looking for. Autonomy. Some of us just need to just let me be. I need my independence. I need my space. Y'all are smothering me. Okay. And so we'll find out in here. And here, some of us like, man, what is my meaning for life? I need clarity. That's a lot of individuals that have high anxiety will find that you'll maybe in this section, because a lot of individuals, like, if you just really don't know you just know that, like, I've got a lot of problems going on, but if you asking me to spell that out, I can't really tell you. Okay, that's okay. That might mean a lot of times we're so anxiety ridden that so much has been suppressed that you need a coach to help you to process and bring these things to the surface, because you're not going to be able to articulate this to those people who are most important to you. Okay, so then the second part is what happens when my emotional needs are not met. And so this is when we get into some stuff. Like, do you get annoyed if your emotional needs are not met by your spouse or your partner? Do you become afraid? Do you feel like, man, are they going to go off with somebody else, or am I bringing to the table what do you get panicked? Do you start making a lot of phone calls? Do you see what I'm saying? Or do you just start to insulate because you we all have different ways. Do you start to feel disconnected? Do you feel confused? Why is it that you don't see that I need this? So I think this is a good activity to use. What I want you all to do, this will help bring some clarity as far as the process is starting to understand me, because a lot of times we're having concerns about individuals not providing emotional needs, the emotional needs that we want and desire, but we're not even certain of what that is for ourselves, because we haven't taken the time, because we haven't ever been put into places. It's always something going on. From the time I was a child, I had to help out with my siblings, or I just didn't have any identity of my own without having to serve. And then I had a child, and then I moved into parenthood and in school and all these different things. But when has there been a time where you were able to focus on yourself? So in order for us to change the dynamics of how we're being treated, we first have to have a clarity and an understanding of what our needs are, because sometimes we don't consciously know what that is, but we react when we don't have it met. Here we go. I might get cranky. I may be edgy. I might get a little bit irritable. After we learn these things, then we're able to signal to ourselves that if I'm being irritable like this, is it some type of need that's not being met? And then whoever you're with, your children, your spouse, or whoever you're dating, can also start to get that cue if you start having irritability. If you, some of us into something, some of us, how we handle not having our emotional needs, we get fatigued, and some of us just get sleepy, because that may have been a mechanism that you used actually when you were a child, and things started happening. You just went somewhere and went to sleep. Okay. So we want you to take a look at this. And if for those of you all who we're looking at a makeover, right? We're looking at a makeover concerning how we've been doing things and how we want people to communicate with us. So if you're in favor of a makeover and you want a copy of this particular activity, just put in the chat makeover, because that's what we're looking at. Once we have that makeover, once we can put into place the things that we need, then we can start seeing some of the changes. But we're going to get deeper than this with some of the coaching. And we, some of you all have been asking about our coaching program, the paid program. And we're going to, just to let you know, we are going to be releasing more details on that shortly. So thank you for your interest. We will be releasing details on that shortly. And we'll get that out. So I'm going to go on and sign off for today. But let's get that makeover. Put makeover in the chat if you want a copy of this activity. And we will be sure to follow up with you. Y'all take care until next week. All right now. Bye-bye.